Lemmy, I first met Lemmy in 1968, I think it was. He was playing rhythm guitar then, and he turned up at this party where we were all jamming. And I sort of saw him around as I sort of became more into the scene in Notting Hill and all that. You know, you'd see Lemmy, because Lemmy was ever present, you know.
Edward Allen Clarke, known to the world as Fast Eddie, was a guitarist whose sound was as direct and unyielding as the man himself. From the blues-soaked pubs of London to the colossal stages of global tours, his journey was one of relentless dedication to his craft. He forged a path less trodden, eschewing the excesses of some of his peers for a raw, visceral approach that left an indelible mark on music. This is the story of a musician who helped define a genre, a man whose guitar spoke volumes without needing a single wasted note. Born on the 5th of October 1950 in Twickenham, Middlesex, Eddie Clarke's early life was steeped in the sounds of burgeoning rock and roll. The guitar wasn't just a hobby, it was a calling from a young age. By the tender age of 15, he was already navigating the smoky confines of local clubs, honing his skills in bands with names like The Bitter End. These weren't grand stages, but vital proving grounds, where the sweat and passion of live performance began to shape his distinctive style. The nickname Fast Eddie, a moniker that would stick with him throughout his illustrious career, wasn't born from an overt display of speed or a flamboyant stage persona. As he once explained in an interview, it emerged from a specific, almost technical aspect of his playing. It wasn't a speed thing, not a sex thing, it was a sound thing, he clarified. I could do a single note in a solo really fast. This simple explanation revealed a deeper truth about Clarke's approach: precision and impact over flash. His influences were foundational, rooted in the very fabric of rock and blues. The Yardbirds, a band synonymous with guitar innovation, held a particular sway. Eric Clapton, in particular, was a significant figure in Clarke's formative years. Clapton's presence in the local music scene was a constant source of inspiration. Clapton used to play down the road from me all the time, Clarke recalled, a testament to the direct exposure he had to the guitar heroes of the era. He devoured their techniques, not to mimic, but to understand, to internalize, and ultimately, to transform into his own voice. He understood that true artistry lay not in replication, but in assimilation and reinterpretation. You can't just go and play like them, he mused, acknowledging the futility of pure imitation. You've got to play what you do. This philosophy underpinned his entire approach to the instrument. By 1973, Clarke made the pivotal decision to commit to music professionally. This wasn't a leap of faith, it was a calculated step by a musician who had paid his dues in the smaller venues. He joined Zeus, a blues prog rock outfit led by Curtis Knight, and contributed his distinctive guitar work to their album, The Second Coming.
Hop the freight train to Texarkana, wear a hobo.
This period was crucial, offering him experience in a more structured band environment and the demands of studio recording. Alongside Zeus, he dabbled in other projects, forming bands like Blue Goose and Continuous Performance. The goal was always the same: to secure that elusive record deal, the key to unlocking wider recognition, and the opportunity to share his music with a broader audience. These years were a relentless pursuit, a testament to his ambition and unwavering belief in his own musical capabilities. The true turning point in Eddie Clarke's career, and indeed in the trajectory of heavy music, arrived with an almost fated encounter. It was through drummer Phil "Filthy Animal" Taylor that Clarke was introduced to the enigmatic force of nature that was Lemmy Kilmister. From this meeting, an unholy trinity was forged, a lineup that would redefine the boundaries of speed, aggression, and sheer unadulterated rock and roll. Lemmy on bass and vocals, Phil Taylor on drums, and Fast Eddie on guitar.
He disappeared for a while, and then he called me out of the blue and said, oh man, he says, I'm with this band Motorhead now, he says, and we need another guitarist. because we've made this album, which was the On Parole album, with the very first Motorhead, which was Larry Wallace, and Lucas Fox was on drums. But Lemmy decided to replace Lucas's drums, and Phil was the drummer. And then after they'd finished the album, they'd done a lot of guitar overdubs. So Larry said, we really need a rhythm guitarist, you know, to be able to perform the album live. So that's when Phil said, oh, well, I know someone, you know, so they gave me a call, you know. You know, we jammed for a bit, but it wasn't really going anywhere. So, and it all seemed a bit strange. So I thought I'd better go. So I said, well, look, I bet, you know, that'll do. And let me know what you think. And I'll, you know, and I went home. And I never heard anything, so I didn't think any more of it. I thought, oh, well, no, nothing's come of that, you know. And then I'm sure it was about 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning. I'm in my flat in West Kent, and there's a fucking knock on the door, and nobody knocks on the door at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I go to the door, and there's Lemmy standing there, and he's got the bullet belt in one hand and a leather jacket. And he hands them to me through the door, because I'm in my fucking underpants, you know. And he says, here, you got the job. You know, handed me these two things and then walked off. Because, you know, he'd obviously been up all night, you know.
This classic Motorhead lineup, active from 1976 to 1982, wasn't just a band, it was a phenomenon. They were a relentless, unstoppable force, a sonic assault that cut through the prevailing musical trends with the precision of a razor blade. Their sound was stripped down, raw, and utterly uncompromising. It was fast, loud, and gloriously unrefined, a direct ancestor to thrash metal and a significant influence on countless bands that followed. The albums released during this era are not merely records, they are monuments to a specific moment in time when heavy music found its true voice. Motorhead, released in 1977, served as a potent declaration of intent. Then came Overkill in 1979, an album that solidified their status as pioneers of speed metal, followed swiftly by Bomber in the same year, showcasing their incredible prolificacy and consistency. But it was Ace of Spades, unleashed in 1980, that truly propelled Motorhead into the stratosphere. Its title track became an anthem, an enduring symbol of their no-nonsense attitude and their singular vision. As Lemmy famously declared about the song, it's about gambling, but it's really about life. You can't always win, but you can always play. This ethos resonated deeply with audiences, cementing Motorhead's reputation as the ultimate rock and roll band. The live album No Sleep Till Hammersmith, released in 1981, captured the band's ferocious live energy, a raw, untamed beast unleashed on stage. It remains a definitive live album, showcasing the undeniable chemistry between the three musicians. Their final studio album together, Iron Fist, released in 1982, further cemented their legacy. Clarke's guitar work during this period was nothing short of revolutionary. His riffs were not complex, but they were devastatingly effective. They were lean, muscular, and propelled by an almost primal force. He wasn't interested in flashy solos for the sake of it. Every note served the song, every riff drove the rhythm forward. His sound was thick and aggressive, a perfect foil for Lemmy's gravelly vocals and Taylor's thunderous drumming. He understood the power of simplicity when delivered with conviction. As he once remarked about Motorhead's approach, we just tried to play as fast and as loud as we could. This straightforward philosophy was the bedrock of their immense success. Beyond his instrumental contributions, Clarke also occasionally lent his voice to the band, taking lead vocals on tracks like Step Down and Emergency. These moments offered a glimpse into another facet of his musicality, showcasing his versatility within the confines of Motorhead's distinctive sound. The combination of Lemmy's distinctive growl, Taylor's relentless rhythm, and Clarke's searing guitar created a sound that was instantly recognizable and utterly unique. They weren't just playing heavy metal, they were embodying it. The impact of this lineup cannot be overstated. They didn't just play loud, they played with an intensity that few could match. They became a guiding light for countless bands in the burgeoning new wave of British heavy metal scene and laid crucial groundwork for the thrash metal explosion that followed. Their influence echoed across genres, demonstrating that purity of purpose and relentless energy could be more potent than technical wizardry alone. "We were just trying to play rock and roll faster than anyone else," Clarke stated, a humble assessment of a groundbreaking achievement. The classic Motörhead lineup, for all its power and influence, was not destined to last forever. Fast Eddie Clarke's departure from the band in 1982 marked the end of an era, but it was by no means the end of his musical journey. He was a musician driven by an insatiable need to create, and a new chapter was quick to unfold. Almost immediately, Clarke embarked on his next significant project, co-founding the hard rock band Fastway in 1983. For this new venture, he teamed up with Pete Way, the accomplished bassist from UFO, and drummer Jerry Shirley, formerly of Humble Pie. The band's formation was a clear signal of Clarke's continued commitment to raw, unadorned rock and roll. Fastway's self-titled debut album was released to considerable commercial success, demonstrating that Clarke's distinct guitar style resonated beyond the confines of Motörhead. The album entered the UK charts at a respectable number 43 and number 31 in the US, a clear indication of a hungry audience ready for his new sound. Fastway's music retained the hard-hitting edge that was Clarke's signature, but it also embraced a more melodic sensibility, showcasing a different facet of his songwriting and playing. The band continued to release a string of albums, including All Fired Up in 1984, further cementing their place in the hard rock landscape. They were a formidable live act, sharing stages with established giants of rock like the Scorpions and Iron Maiden, further building their reputation and reaching new audiences. One notable project for Fastway was their contribution to the horror movie Trick or Treat in 1986, for which they wrote the entire soundtrack. This venture showcased their versatility and ability to craft music for different mediums, a testament to their creative drive.
Done to your stereo.
Even after Fastway, Clarke's musical output remained consistent and passionate. He continued to release solo albums, showcasing his individual musical vision without the constraints of a band dynamic. It Ain't Over Till It's Over, released in 1993, was one such offering, a testament to his enduring commitment to his craft. His final solo work, Make My Day, Back to the Blues, released in 2014, was a poignant return to his blues roots, demonstrating the foundational influence of the genre on his playing. It was a full-circle moment, bringing him back to the very sounds that had first inspired him as a young lad in Twickenham. The breadth of his career was later celebrated with a comprehensive 4-CD box set titled The Rock and Roll Story of Fast Eddie Clarke. This collection offered a deep dive into his extensive discography, featuring tracks from his various bands and solo projects, providing a definitive overview of his remarkable contribution to music. It served as a powerful reminder of his longevity, his versatility, and the consistent quality of his work across different musical landscapes. The passing of Edward Allen Fast Eddie Clarke on the 10th of January 2018 marked a profoundly sad moment for the world of rock and roll. He was 67 years old and passed away in London while undergoing treatment for pneumonia. His death resonated deeply within the music community, particularly among fans and musicians who had been touched by his powerful contributions. At the time of his passing, Eddie Clarke held a unique and poignant position. He was the last surviving member of Motörhead's iconic classic lineup. The rock world had already mourned the loss of Lemmy Kilmister in 2015, and Phil "Filthy Animal" Taylor also in 2015. Clarke's death completed the cycle, bringing an end to an era defined by a trio of musicians who, together, had created something truly extraordinary. The tributes that poured in from fellow musicians and fans alike were a testament to the profound impact he had made. Dave Ellefson of Megadeth, upon hearing of Clarke's death, described him as one of the last true rock and roll guitar heroes a sentiment echoed by many. His influence was not just on guitarists, but on entire bands and genres. Motörhead's unique blend of punk aggression and heavy metal power was largely shaped by Clarke's distinctive riffing and uncompromising sound. His legacy extends far beyond the raw power of Motörhead. He was a musician who stayed true to his own vision, refusing to compromise his sound or his approach. He never chased trends, he set them. His riffs were instantly recognizable, his solos impactful, and his stage presence commanding. He embodied the spirit of rock and roll, rebellious, loud, and utterly authentic. The simple, direct nature of his playing was often deceptive. Beneath the apparent simplicity lay a deep understanding of rhythm, melody, and dynamics. He knew precisely how to construct a riff that would lodge itself in the listener's mind, how to deliver a solo that enhanced the song rather than merely showcasing technical prowess. As he once stated about his approach to guitar, "I just wanted to make a noise that excited me." This fundamental desire to create exciting, visceral music was the driving force behind his entire career. Fast Eddie Clarke's contribution to heavy metal and rock and roll cannot be overstated. He was a foundational figure, a pioneer who helped to push the boundaries of what heavy music could be. His work with Motörhead remains a definitive statement of power and aggression, while his subsequent projects showcased his versatility and enduring passion for the guitar. He may have departed, but his iconic riffs, his distinctive sound, and his unwavering dedication to the music he loved will continue to inspire generations of musicians and thrill fans for many years to come. He was, quite simply, a rock and roll original, and his place in history is firmly secured.